For the last defender.
Join them now on another adventure through time and fantasy. The Freedom Force.
Super Friends, the legendary superpowers show. Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy. Hong Kong Phooey, quicker than the human eye. He's got style, a groovy smile, and a vibe that just won't stop. When the going gets rough, he's super tough with a Hong Kong Phooey chop.
This is Complete Disarray with Jamie Ray. The best part of waking up is complete disarray in your ears. Cup. Now, here he is, direct from Plastic Microphone Studios, Jamie Ray.
Wow, that was some kind of intro. Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
Don't mind me, just eating cereal.
Welcome to a new episode of Complete Disarray with Jamie Ray. That is like, I don't know, this is like 3 or 4 in 2025. It's crazy. It's unheard of. But this is the year of the Plastic Microphone Studios.
Yeah, it is.
And I am trying to bring content upon content upon content to you. Possibly not good content, but still, we're out there. And speaking of not good content, I today have my friend.
Well, good night, everybody.
I love you, man.
Feel it.
Jay Hall is an author, a professor, a husband, a father, and much like myself, a child of the 70s.
You could have stopped a child.
Mentally no. And so today's episode is all about our life in one of the greatest periods of history, Saturday mornings in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
When I brought this idea to Jay, his eyes lit up. He jumped out of his seat like he'd sat down on a jart and just was so willing to do this. So first, I want to thank you, Jay. I appreciate you coming and doing this.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I see that you have robed yourself correctly.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We are ready to rock.
Oh, and it's the OG Psychics. Oh, that's a nice.
Oh, come on.
That's a nice jacket you got there.
Oh, there you go. Does that make you happy?
Very much so.
I thought it might.
So Marvin and Wendy and what was the dog's name?
Wonder Dog.
Wonder Dog.
Very
Not to
original.
be confused with Dino Mutt.
Or Underdog.
Or Underdog. Yes. So we have absolutely no plan for this next whatever hour.
Why start now?
10 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to start off and just ask you, Jay, what is it about Saturday mornings in the 70s that just made it so amazing and basically unable to be duplicated?
At the risk of sounding like an old guy, although I am older guy, not as old as you, but I think, I don't know. We've talked about this.
55 in May.
I'll be 55 in August.
I'm older.
Take that. But both 1970 kids, here we are. I think the thing that made it unique in some ways is that there wasn't that much to do. Like, I mean, honestly, when I think about like my kids on Saturday morning, it was, I'm taking this one to gymnastics and this one to a swim meet and this one's got a baseball tournament. This one's got a basketball tournament and we're running wild.
Yeah.
Um, and once they got a little bit older, it's this one's on the phone, this one's on the iPad, this one's doing homework on the computer. And we didn't have any of that.
No.
So Saturday mornings in the 70s, there were about three things going on in my world, one of three, and possibly a
Fair.
combination of them, right? I was either outside running around with my brothers and the neighborhood kids. I might have a soccer game, but that not very often. And the other sports didn't happen on Saturdays. They weren't weekend sports yet. Or I was in my room playing with Legos or Star Wars or whatever was there, or I was in front of the television.
Yeah, that's more than three things.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure, you're a professor of English, not of math, right?
I'm a professor of sociology, not of math. So I
Sociology.
don't even do English. But
I ain't got good words.
That's right. I use words good. But
But you're right.
That was kind of it. I mean, that's what was going on. And so I think we got to have one, it was more universal because you think about, I don't want to just compare it to childhood now, but there is such a variety of things that go on that you don't have a lot of commonalities except with the people you do those things with. So if you're on a baseball team, then you guys are all doing baseball together.
Right.
But when you go to school the next day or on Monday, then those kids might not have been watching the same show you were, or, running around doing the same stuff.
Or sometimes weren't at the same school.
Right. Oh, absolutely that. So I think there's just, I don't want to romanticize times gone by, but I do think there is something about just a little bit slower pace and the opportunity, I think, to be kids.
Yeah.
More than necessarily is true of kids now. What about you? In the Ray household, what did that look like?
Well, see, before we do to go into that,
Okay.
when you say you and your brothers, what was your outside environment like? Were you in a suburb? Were you in a city, or were you out in the boonies?
We were in the burbs.
Okay.
We lived in Norman, Oklahoma, and lived in a couple of different neighborhoods, but always on a cul-de-sac for some reason.
Okay.
That's kind of the suburbs work. And the last house we were in, which is where we spent the most of our time in Norman, parked down the street, neighbor kids next door, across the street, down the street, and in the best possible scenario for a 8-9-year-old boy, they were beginning to develop the field behind our addition.
Okay.
Which meant that there was all kinds of trenches and dirt piled up, and that we didn't end up seriously maimed or dead running around. And it was like we'd jump over my fence and then jumped over my neighbor's fence to get to this thing. And sorry, Mom.
Okay.
And away we went. But
Okay.
yeah, very much suburban neighborhood.
Okay. So as an early child in the 70s, up until the summer between the second and third grades, I lived in Alexandria, which it's not a huge city, especially at that time, but it had like a military base, and we lived right off of the traffic circle that was right next to the mall. So it was probably about as city as you would get if you weren't in the middle of Baton Rouge or, say, New Orleans.
Right.
Still, I had that same feeling that you were just expressing, in that if we weren't inside because it was too cold or raining, we were outside. We would take our GI Joes, we would take our Star Wars figures, we would take, for me, it would be, I loved at that period Buck Rogers.
Nice.
So I had those little Mego figures.
Yep.
And so all of the guys, and even some of the little sisters, or a big sister, I remember one, we would all just go and find a patch of dirt, or
Yep.
something, and you had all of these different toys interacting and playing with each other, and Tinker Toys, and it really was a matter of you were fed breakfast, and
Kicked out of the
somebody's
house.
mom fed you lunch. It wasn't determined as to who it was
Right.
going to, but one of the moms fed you sandwiches or whatnot. And then you didn't go home until, well, you got home before the street lights came on.
That's it. That was the rule.
Was you too? Okay. See,
Don't make
that
me look for you. Don't make me look for you.
All right. And so between the second and third grade, that changed. And I moved out of the city into a town called Ball, Louisiana. Now, Ball was off the highway. We lived off the road. We lived back into a neighborhood, but we were blessed with guys across the street, guys down the street, guys down the street over here. And so it became a situation where one fella and I were the youngest, and then like jump 2 years and we had my brother and one of his brothers, and then jump 2 years and there was another brother and another guy. And so there was probably a 6 to 8 year span between this group of guys, but we were in Boy Scouts together. We were in, some of us went to the same school. Some of us got, bused separately, but it was a little bit different in that we did see the same faces. We saw the same faces at scouting. We saw the same faces, on the weekends during the days, but the same fun equation was there. Yeah. Now it was just you added bicycles to the equation.
Yep.
And so it would be hop on the bicycles and ride to wherever you were going. And then we started to get smart, and we would ask moms to fix us sandwiches or something like that. And then we didn't have to worry about where we were.
Nice.
At lunchtime. So we had a lot of woods. We had an abandoned military installation called Camp Beauregard.
What kind of trouble could you possibly get in there?
Yeah, that one was Camp Livingston. And it was super spooky.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually a dark stain, on our history, but it was actually one of the Japanese internment camps during World War II. So, stupid boys, were trying to scare each other with ghost stories. And, there was a pit that was like a mechanic's pit that was always full of water. And it was perfectly fine to swim in. Yeah, sure.
Oh, gosh. That might actually explain some things.
It really
Did you drink a lot of that water, Jamie?
I did. Man. But it was the same thing. We would go and we would be gone, and no one knew where the adventure was going to take us.
Yep.
And you cannot explain the pure joy that we had at that time, because we literally made our own fun. I mean, now we would get into fights sometimes, whatever, but by and large, that was a time when you could get in a fight, and then the next weekend you were back at each other's house.
Right. Everybody's going back to it. Yep.
Exactly. So, for me, that's what the 60s, the 70s really reminded me of. It was just that ability to be gone and to make your own fun.
Yeah.
That being said, Saturday mornings were a special time in the houses, and I'm assuming that you were there the same way. For me, Saturday morning started early, like 6 a.m. Sometimes 5:30, but 6 a.m. because that's when Ultraman came on. Okay.
Yes.
And then that's the day just opened up in front of you like a lotus flower, a cornucopia of visual images and sounds, and oh my God, commercials. They had the best commercials in the 70s. And there were so many toys that, at that point, there really wasn't a lot of marketing and a lot of franchising available. Star Wars was kind of starting to do that in 77, 78. But before then, you just had all of these different toys and all of these different things that you were able to make their universes up. And you don't have necessarily a story for them. You could do whatever you wanted to do. What about you? Did you have that same experience on Saturday mornings?
Oh yeah. It was, it was get up early, because we were not an eat cereal on the couch family.
Oh, okay.
Like, could you grab the bowl and go sit on the couch and watch TV?
No, no,
It
no.
was
I mean,
not. It was not an option in Mama Hall's house.
but you were.
Oh, so I own the land speed record for hammering down a bowl of cereal because you had to get up before whatever show was coming,
Mhm.
get that cereal out of the way so that then you could sit down and do the thing or whatever was going to happen.
Right.
But you had to do that fast, and then because we couldn't, where our kitchen was, you couldn't see the TV. And
Oh,
so,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like you had to get
Well,
that
you didn't
done.
have a TV in the kitchen?
No, we did not. Again,
How many TVs did you have in the 70s?
not at Mama Hall's house. In the 70s, I think we just had one.
Yeah, us too.
My parents might have had one in their room,
Not mine.
but I don't think they did. I
Yeah.
think we just had the one giant, console, launch airplanes
Six
off
foot
of TV.
across with a 12-inch
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Yeah, massive speakers that the whole time, and oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there was just one. There might have been. So my dad, well, in the 70s, he was just starting to work in the car business,
Uh-huh.
and worked for a Chevy dealership. And GM back then had all these incentive things for their salesmen, and so you
Oh.
earn points based on sales, and points can get you different things. And at some point, I remember he got this tiny black and white TV with points.
Oh, cool.
And so we had that. And he also got, and this was the coolest thing ever in 1978, a portable television
Oh, wow.
that was like,
Fancy.
the size of, I mean, the screen was about that big. But when we went on Boy Scout trips, we could watch the game or we could watch whatever, which was the point because it had this massive antenna that you
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
get stuff from space. But
And
yeah, I
you
think
had
there
the
was just
extra
one.
aluminum foil.
Oh, totally. Yeah, whatever we needed to do, we can make the thing as long as we needed to. But I think, if I remember right, there was just one TV in the house.
Yeah. I believe we were the same way. I feel like once we moved from Alexandria to Ball, we had a larger house, and there was one big TV in the front. I don't ever remember my parents having a TV in their room, but I remember eventually I was gifted an old black and white TV.
Yeah.
And we had one of the very, very first video games that you could get from, I think it was from Sears. And it was all
Oh,
in
yeah.
one piece. And you would slide these two slides back and forth. And you could play 4 different games. You could play tennis.
Pong had to
You
be
could
one
play
of them.
table tennis. You could play hockey. And you could play Pong, I think.
Yeah.
Which, if you're not up with us, there were all the exact game. But you would have to
There
check the
were different
selector.
colors on the screen, and that was about
No. It was all green
Oh, wow.
and light green. But of course, for me, it was all black and white. I vividly remember watching The Spy Who Loved Me when at the beginning Bond comes down and comes off of the Alps and opens up
Right.
his. I can remember seeing that, and then later on seeing it again, probably on a VHS, and amazed at how full color his parachute was.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Okay, so I got to ask you a question because we're talking about
Yes.
breakfast, right?
okay.
What was the go-to cereal in the Jamie Ray
Oh.
household?
I was going to ask you that first. What you got something in the bowl right there?
I got something in the bowl right here.
Yeah. So,
It's so mushy now. There's no way I'm touching it.
Delish. There's a difference between what was in the Ray household and what we wanted in the Ray household.
Completely fair.
I can remember a time when my dad was the terminal that he worked for had closed up, and it was hard to find another job at that point. So I remember being on government assistance for a while. And so, as you may remember, it was, or I'm sure you saw, you would go to the stores and there'd be all the nice Del Monte and Campbell soup and all of this, and then you'd see these white cans with black, like the Dharma Initiative
I
cans.
was just thinking
Lost.
Dharma. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And then powdered milk and stuff like that. So, for us, having a candy coated, cereal, sugar coated cereal, was little more of a treat. But I say all of that to say that one of the staples was Cheerios.
Okay.
But we would always, and I know this is strange, we would always cut up fruit, but I specifically liked green grapes sliced and put
Really?
into on top of my Cheerios. I
Oh.
know. It's not something you would normally do. I'm also
I've
I'm
never heard
also
of
the
that.
kind of person who puts a banana into my chocolate shake,
Oh, I've got
which
no problem with that.
oh,
I'm all
okay,
for
okay.
that. Oh yeah, I'm in.
So all of that to say it would be Cheerios with some kind of fruit in them or whatnot. And so for you,
So here was part of the challenge in our house is I mentioned I had two brothers, and mom wasn't going out and buying 3 boxes of cereal every time we went to the store, so there was rotation.
oh, okay.
Uh, and so I have
What,
one
a
brother who
rotation
was
that you got to pick, or
yeah,
was it
oh yeah.
like your staple? You were always getting one.
No, we got to choose.
Oh, okay,
We got to
cool.
choose. So one of my brothers was a big fan of the Pebbles, both fruity and cocoa, and he would go back and forth there, and whatever
Aren't
would
they
happen.
aren't they sisters at a club called? I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead.
listen, I knew that was coming and I was being very careful because I was going to talk about being a big fan of Fruity Pebbles and knew where that might go. So anyway, and then my other brother, for
Fruity
whatever
Coke.
reason, stop it, was an Alphabets guy, which never made a
Oh
whole lot of
yeah.
sense to me. For me, in my house, it was Captain Crunch. It has always been Captain Crunch. There has never been another. Well, there actually has been another. We'll talk about that in a second. But
Okay.
Captain Crunch, like from the very first time I consumed it at who knows what age.
Wow.
Again, I am 54 years old, and there is now a box in my pantry that I will be finishing up, not just as a prop for this, but because I can.
So is it is it because there are a couple of different kinds of Captain Crunches?
Oh,
Is it
careful here.
the all peanut or is it the one that has the berries in it?
Okay, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you a quick story
Okay.
that will explain
Oh,
crunch
so
berries
much.
right. We'll explain crunch berries in my world.
Okay.
My wife yesterday, because she puts up with my nonsense and has for
Oh,
a long time,
bless that woman.
was at the you have no idea, was at the store getting Captain Crunch for this very bit, right? I mean, we don't normally have it around the house because I'm 54 years old, which isn't really an excuse, but that's true. So she's getting it. So she calls me and she says, "Okay, Jay, here's the deal. They don't have the smaller box of regular Captain Crunch. They only have the family size, but they do have the regular size box of Crunch Berries.
Crunch berries. Yes.
Is that okay?" And I said to my wife, who I love with all of my heart, Crunch Berries are an abomination and they will not come into my house.
Ew.
Because I believe this in my soul. So yeah, no Crunch Berries. And I'm a big peanut butter guy, but no peanut butter Captain Crunch. Like OG, that's all we
But
got.
you understand that the little rectangles in Crunch berries are the same as
Yeah.
in Captain Crunch.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Listen, when did logic ever enter into any of these conversations?
Never. You are correct, sir.
I
Never.
mean, but we've had this conversation before. Like, I am a purist about things. That's
Right.
why I don't watch remakes. And like, the original is
You
good
only
enough,
wear your
and
underwear once and then throw them away. Yeah, no, I remember. I
when
remember.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Every
started it.
Saturday.
You started it. So
Uh,
yeah, Captain
okay.
Crunch, always Captain Crunch. Now I have to ask you this because you mentioned
Yeah.
commercials.
Mhm.
The 70s were the peak period. 70s Saturday morning commercials were for about one of 3 or 4 things we've already established. I can't count. Um, Cereal was one of them. Candy bars, cookies, things like that. Toys, or other shows. Like there wasn't a lot of variety in and very rarely was it like, hey, and you can also eat fruit. Although I'm sure we'll talk about those PSAs before we're done here. Did you ever? And the cereal commercials were like, whatever toy was coming out, whatever TV show, whatever movie, like everybody had a cereal, and it was basically the same thing as the squares of My Captain Crunch, but pressed into shapes of Pac-Man
Nearing
or
the
Ghost or
end
whatever.
of the 70s.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So much of that, and then just whatever the different colored dye was kind of the thing. So, did you ever fall prey to one of those commercials and say, "Mom, I've got to have a box of..."
No. And I'll
Okay.
tell you why. What I said was, Mun, can I have a box of Cookie Crisps? Who
Oh,
was my
yeah.
father's mother, my paternal.
Okay. Oh, brilliant.
Yes.
Go to
Oh, my
grandma.
mom and her mother-in-law not so secretly rolled my entire childhood. And as an adult, I understand her frustrations now. But if I saw Cookie Crisp, if I saw the one with the little Oreos in them,
Oh, yeah.
if I saw the Batman cereal, which I was way older than that, but that type of thing,
Right.
um, I could go and call Mun, and then that the next weekend that I was at her house, there was one there. And
Brilliant.
let me ask you this. One of my favorite things that she always stocked, she had a pantry right next to the refrigerator that you'd open it up and it was only about this wide. Okay. And the shelves were about that far
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
Okay. She would stack Heinz chocolate peanut pudding
Oh,
in these. And they were little cans like cat food cans. And you would pop off the lid, and then a normal human child would go get a spoon. But we would lick all the pudding off, bend it almost like a cannoli, and then
brilliant.
use it to scoop it out. And then what, pray tell, do you
And
do
just
when there's
cut the
just a
fool
little
out
bit
of
of
your
pudding
lips.
left?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go. So that's what I would do in my house.
No, that's brilliant. So my grandparents, the go-to cereal at their house was Post Toasties. And
The bran flakes.
Post Toasties were Frosted Flakes without the frosted.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no amount of sugar on earth, regardless of what they told me, that would make them taste like anything other than corn paper.
Yep. I
But
got you.
that was the go-to cereal at Grandma Pop's. Now she didn't do pudding; she was an M&M gal.
Oh, okay.
My grandmother ate M&Ms like, I don't know, other people eat normal things.
Yeah.
Constant. And so we knew when we were there, it was going to be like she'd have the economy bag, and I don't think I'm exaggerating the
Yeah.
size here.
Back
The
then.
economy bag of M&Ms, and it wasn't like just whenever you felt like it, but pretty much whenever you felt like it. You just kind of, when we were younger, we asked, and as we got older, we stopped asking and just went and did.
Mhm.
There was a lot of M&Ms consumed, and then ice cream was the other thing at her house always.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay. Ice cream. Yeah.
we did tons of that. So I got to tell you, I did succumb to one of these commercials,
Okay.
to one of these cereal commercials.
Because I have a follow-up question to this, but
Okay,
go ahead.
okay. Do you remember Waffle-O's?
No.
Waffle-O's. So Waffle-O's were basically Captain Crunch. They were shaped like waffles, with a hole in the middle for some reason. I'm sure
The O.
they're
They're
brilliant.
waffle donuts.
There you go. They're basically waffle donuts, but they were maple syrup flavored.
Oh.
And the commercial was a cowboy named Waffle-O Bill and his horse.
Of course there is.
And Waffle-O Bill sold me on Waffle-O's. And so when my turn came up in the rotation again, I was like, Mom, I'm going to go off the road. I'm going to go off the board here. Can you find Waffle-O's?
Mhm.
And dude, I'm here to tell you, I loved them.
Really?
I loved them. Now, I
Okay.
eventually went back to my first love, Captain Crunch, but there was a Waffle-O season in my house. Settle down. There was a Waffle-O season in my house where like my brothers were so sick. I can't
Really?
believe we're getting those again. But they were amazing. They were
Wow.
wildly unhealthy. I mean, none of this is terribly healthy,
Yeah,
but
Not as
but
healthy.
they were incredible.
Okay. So the follow-up question to that is,
Yes.
did you have a cereal that you think was going to be amazing, and then you got it and it wasn't good at all, but you had to finish the box because we don't throw away food in this house?
No, we don't throw away food in this house. I don't think so. I the version of that did happen. Mom would occasionally go and get the variety packs
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that had like 8 different cereals in them. And there were usually like 6 cereals that my brothers and I would hammer, and then two others, like Apple Jacks or something. Like, nobody's going to eat Apple Jacks.
What?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend. I did not mean to offend. But those were always left over. And the deal was, well, until those are gone, we can't go get more cereal. And so then it was like my brothers and I'm sure it wasn't as civil as rock, paper, scissors, but, forcing each, and
I
I was
didn't
the
jump on the
oldest.
hand grenade.
That's exactly it. I was the oldest and the biggest, so I could make them, you guys eat the Apple Jacks because we got to get more cereal. So
Okay.
I think that was it. And I never thought this was a good idea. My brothers would occasionally dabble in the marshmallow cereals,
Okay.
the Lucky Charms and the Count Chocos and whatever. I was never a fan. Never
Okay.
made sense to me. So those were dark days.
I got you.
But I knew the captain was coming back.
Knew, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, for me, it was is it Boo Berries that were the pink ones?
Frankenberry.
Frankenberries. So for me, I liked Count Chocula.
Okay.
I liked the blue one was Boo Berries. And then, so obviously the next step was to get the pink one and thinking, whatever. And I got them and it was like, ugh,
You didn't like
I
the
don't know
strawberry
what.
milk.
Yeah, it was like, and I don't like strawberry milk at all. But thankfully, I had purchased it through my mom account, and
It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. So those were good times. As a kid, um, it was something else. As an adult, I'm like, oh my God, how did my mom and dad not just bury me? Um, but so anyway, so I'm going to segue straight from that into a quick story about toys.
Let's go.
So one of my absolute favorite toys or toy lines at that point was the Big Jim figures, which
Okay.
were kind of like GI Joes and stuff. But specifically, there was a set called Big Jim's Pack, and basically they had repackaged other characters together into this super task force that was charged with protecting the world. I don't know if you remember these, but Jack Kirby actually did all of the artwork. They
I
would
didn't
come
know
in
that.
boxes with windows. It had a comic book that Jack had drawn inside of it. It was the bomb. So anytime Christmas or whatever was rolling around, that's what I was asking for. I was not a completist back then. I would like some things
Right.
of one or one or another, but I had to have every pack figure. And as I grew up, I remember, there comes that time when, your parents are, you can't bring this crap home from your grandparents anymore. And, you have to grow out of it and whatnot. And I remember having to sell a bunch of my stuff at a garage sale to which my cousins bought so many of my action figures for me to later find out that they taped firecrackers to them,
Oh no.
blew them up. I found this because I went over to my cousins thinking I would go back into they have a little shed in the back. We could go back and play with them. And it was literally a strewn battlefield of broken GI Joes, Star Wars, and
Wow.
my Buck Rogers figures. So fast forward to my 18-year-old to my graduation party from school. We're at my aunt's house who has a pool, and my grandmother comes there. And she gives me this, come see, I want to see you. And so here I am thinking Mun's gonna, give me a check or something like this. And
Right.
he has this box, like a shoe box. And she goes, I've been keeping this for you, and I think now is a good time to give it to you. And I'm thinking, ooh, it's like cash or gold or something. Come to find out, it was much, much, much more valuable. I opened it up, and there was one of my pack figures,
Nice.
the Dr. Steele, who is a bald guy with a silver hand where you'd push his back and he would karate chop, and he has a
Yeah.
dragon on his chest.
Nice.
And she said, your mom and dad told me that we had to get rid of all of your stuff, but I know how much you loved them, so I saved this one in a box.
That's awesome.
So, mind you, that had probably been somewhere between 8 and 10 years that she had kept that.
Yep.
And like I said, that was, and I still have him. He's right here on my shelf. I got him some other clothes, but that was probably one of my absolute favorite toys.
Unbelievable.
What about you? What was one of your favorite toys to play with?
Oh man. So we were big Legos people at my house. And that was back when, again, things were so much better then. That was back when you didn't get like, here's the Millennium Falcon and you put it together and it's the Millennium Falcon. It was, here's a big old bunch of bricks. Go crazy. And so we would just, accumulate. We had the big starter set and then we'd get others, and you could occasionally get a car or something like that. But for the most part, it was just, here's the set of bricks, go nuts.
Right.
And we did. So loved that. So once Star Wars hit, that was my life.
Oh, yeah.
So I was all Star Wars all the time, every birthday, every anything. It was, here's the list of things
to this
that I
day.
wanted. Well, honestly, until I was probably older than I should have been to still care about these things. I won't get into how old, but I will tell you this.
52.
after your story, in my garage right now, is my entire collection of stuff from back then, because my mom kept it in her attic. So when, we boxed it all up when we reached a certain age, again, older than I should have been, and she moved it like 5 times.
Wow.
From house to house. And when she and my dad moved into this most recent house, they were like, we don't have an attic. We can't, or we don't want to move this stuff anymore. So my brothers and I pulled all of it down and divvied up trucks and characters. And I mean, there's a Foot Locker plus other stuff in my garage right now. My poor wife, again, who is long suffering. No, it's still there.
You checked today?
Yeah, not recently. But she's like, so when we moved last summer, she's like, so what are we going to do with all this? I was like, move it.
Yeah. Mom moved it 5 times.
That's right. It's a family tradition now. We've got to keep moving this stuff. But the one branded thing before that, I had the Star Trek playset.
Yeah. The Mego figure.
Like the bridge of the Enterprise with Kirk and Spock and McCoy, and probably a red shirt.
And the lizard from Spider-Man. I mean, the Gorn.
And also had the transporter. Remember the transporter that you hit like on Big Bang Theory, that you twisted it and they would disappear and come back. I had that, and I loved that thing.
Yeah.
Now, when we found all the stuff at Mom's, the only thing I found of that was one phaser. Like, well, dang it, I'm hanging on to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a big one at our house. And
awesome.
Because at that time, my brothers were significantly, they were little. And so there were lots of things they could mess with. They could not touch that. That was when Big Brother would get problematic.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So switching gears, I would get up and watch Ultraman first at like 6 o'clock in the morning. What was going on at the Hall House?
Just in terms of TV?
For like first thing. What was
6 o'clock in the morning?
Did you have one of those go-to shows?
No, I was, when you mentioned that, I was trying to think if I could remember schedules that precisely, and I really can't. Probably because we flipped around a lot and watched a lot of TV. Yeah. My list of TV shows here is expansive.
Kind of like my waist.
Says, yeah, you said that, which says a lot about me. But there wasn't I don't remember there being one thing that we had to get up and watch. I will tell you, at 6 o'clock, my house was quiet except for us.
Yes.
So,
you didn't wake mom and dad up.
Oh, no. My mom was a teacher. Now, my dad was probably in the process of getting ready to go to work, because in car business, you go in early on Saturdays. But yeah, it was quiet and the volume was down, and if fights were going to break out between me and my brothers, that was going to be later in the day because that would make too much
Gotcha.
noise. Inevitably, it would happen later in the day, but not early. But yeah, I mean, the TV was on as soon as we get it on, but then it was just whatever was coming, and that's probably where. So as I was thinking about shows that I watched, a lot of them were from the '60s.
Right. They
I
were
know I wasn't around for, but they were syndicated like early morning stuff. So the Herculoids and Space Ghost and those kind of cartoons would run before the network kicked in with their
right.
prescribed programming
CBS
for
and
the day.
NBC. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you would flip on and see some older stuff. That's, a lot of the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff was on then. So Sigmund and the Sea Monsters and H.R. Puffin stuff, which is the least
You were a Puffin
veiled.
stuff guy?
Oh, I love that show.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the Sigma and the Sea Monsters and HR Puffin stuff and the Banana Splits. You remember the Banana Splits?
Do you remember Lidsville?
Okay, so when I was looking at lists, I saw this. I do not remember it at all.
Me either. I'm like, there's not very many things on that
But
list
it was
that
always
I don't
like,
remember.
Yeah, but it was like 2 or 3 on every list that I saw, and I have zero memory of that show.
I remember it was Sigmund. What was the magic flute? Was that Sigmund?
Oh gosh,
There was one of those Sid and Marty Krofft shows where there was this golden flute.
I remember this.
Yeah,
I think that might have been Puffin stuff.
HR Puffin stuff. Yeah,
Because
Puffin
again, HR Puffin stuff is like the least veiled reference to marijuana usage in the history of children's television.
I disagree. I think it was more LSD.
I think that's where it started.
Yeah.
Completely fair. But yeah, my memories of that show obviously have nothing to do with awareness about drugs, but in hindsight, they weren't even trying.
Exactly.
It was just, here's what we're thinking about right now.
All right. Well, here's what I'm thinking about right now. Why don't we start off and play some type of association game?
Okay.
And by that, I want you to name one of your favorite Saturday morning shows. And we said cartoons, but there were live action.
Oh yeah, live
shows.
action stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. So you start with one.
Okay.
And tell me what you think, and then I'll tell you what I think, and I'll give you one back.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Fair enough. So we were talking about Sid and Marty Krofft, and they really were kind of the kings of live action stuff on Saturday mornings for a long time.
Yes.
The greatest, and I will take no questions, the greatest Sid and Marty Krofft live action Saturday morning show was Land of the Lost.
Okay. Patrick will agree with you on that.
Into the World of the Dinosaurs, Slee Stacks, Chaka, was that the little kind of proto-human guy that was running around? Same plot every week, but it didn't matter because it was dinosaurs and Slee Stacks, and they were running around basically the same lot, that they had rocks and trees and stuff. Love that show. Saturday mornings were complicated. There wasn't a lot of can't miss because life happened and you weren't always in control of but man, I was ready to fight over missing Land of the Lost. I love that show so much.
Okay. So, I do remember that. I do remember watching it. But I wouldn't say I was fond of it. It was not something that I had to watch. I could definitely miss it and be okay with it. But excellent choice. Okay. I will then parry that one with another live action show. And I think I'm going to go with Jason the Star Command.
Oh yeah.
Nice. With Scotty, and with, Sid Haig with that killer eye, in it. It's so much fun. I mean, yes, it was the same spacecraft going shoo, and then going shoo, pew, 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 same sounds. But you know what? The 7-8-year-old me was just,
oh yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah.
You have monsters, you have space aliens, you have villains. Were I to be older, I would have been enamored with Space 1999. But at this age, it was all about Jason a Star Command.
That's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
That's Thanks. A great. I mean, that you think about kind of that progression of space live action stuff that basically led me into, and I'll go ahead and lump you in, being just primed and ready for Star Wars.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Buck Rogers, the old Battlestar Galactica, and things like that. And then
Oh, the
it's
Flash
like,
Gordon was on.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
What was it? Shazam and the Super Seven, and then of course we're going off topic already. Shazam. Oh my
Oh yeah,
God.
Shazam and ISIS.
Was
The Shazam ISIS hour, man.
oh ISIS. Even I knew she was hot at that age. I was like, "Ooh, I need some chocolate pudding."
Settle down.
Okay, so back to you. What's another one?
So we'll shift to cartoons.
Okay,
Because that was kind of what dominated at that point. I'm saving the big one. I was a huge fan, and I cannot explain why, of these shows that Hanna-Barbera did, where they would bring lots of characters from different franchises that they had
right.
into some kind of competition. So initially it was
Correct.
Wacky Racers,
Yes. Yes.
and then later it was the Scooby-Doo Laugh Olympics. That was the same idea
Right.
in the later 70s. But I loved Wacky Racers, and
I did too.
it was setting us up for Cannonball Run, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we were coming to. But it was, the Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt and the, Snidely Whiplash and Penelope, whatever her name was. And they all had their own cars, and they had their own like styles, and everything was, kind of goofy towards them. And they just raced.
Was Jabberwocky in that? Jabberjaw?
No, Jabberjaw was Laugh Olympics, because he was later.
Okay.
He was later.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you know who I think was going to be on it, but I'm not sure because he just had a cool car, would be one of my favorites. Hong Kong Phooey.
Oh, thank you for bringing him up. Yes.
Man, Scatman Crothers. That dude, that show, oh my God, it would so be canceled. Like,
oh, yes.
within the first 2 minutes of
it
that
wouldn't
show.
last 30 seconds today.
My God, it was so, I mean, just, he's a janitor, superhero, karate guy.
But not really.
Yeah.
And that was the best part, right? Is that all of his karate came from the Why do we know these things? All of his karate came from that manual that he found. And he never did it right. And so the actual hero was his cat.
Spot
the cat, right? I mean, even get stuck in the file cabinet when he would transform into Hong Kong Phooey.
I could never pass a metal filing cabinet without thinking of Hong Kong Phooey. I just can't.
That's both incredible and wildly imprinted. Well, and there was a conversation that they were going to do a live action Hong Kong Phooey.
Like recently?
You don't know this? Yeah.
No. Oh, no.
No, Eddie Murphy was supposed to be Hong Kong Phooey. Now, again, in the grand tradition of why is Scatman Crothers Hong Kong, that makes no sense, right?
Yes.
A blues and jazz musician from the 40s who became an actor is now voicing Hong Kong Phooey.
Dog? Yeah.
A dog that's kind of Asian. Yeah. There was just so much about it that made no sense at all.
No sense.
It was incredible.
I've never heard this.
They were going to do a live action. You can go find. So apparently they were like shooting this thing, and there is footage available on the internet. And when that footage got released, production shut down because it was so bad.
Was
And
it like a
has never been heard
Shrek
of
type live action, or was it literally him?
No, I
dressed
think
as
it was
Hong
kind of like a Garfield kind of deal,
Oh, okay.
where
okay.
the dog
the
was
rest of the
CGI.
world was normal.
It was Eddie Murphy dressed in a Hong Kong Phooey costume.
The thing is, I could see that Eddie filmed some stuff there for a while.
That'd be even worse than what they showed. But I remember no details except that this thing happened. But I remember thinking, holy cow, this is the one property from my childhood that I would go watch a remake kind of thing.
Yes.
It's never going to happen. And probably shouldn't, honestly.
Yeah.
For lots of reasons.
It's hard to knowing what we know now to
right.
do any of those things again.
Oh, yeah. Looking back, I mean, you just realize there were so many problems with that.
Yeah, but at the time, it was all we did was laugh. All we did, it was innocent fun.
Right.
But
because we used to
you couldn't do that again. No.
Nor should you, just to be clear.
One of the things that I'm pretty sure no one is going to want to cancel, because there's no one from that group would be Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels.
Thank you.
So I loved Cavey so much. The very first website I ever built, when you would land on the site, it was a GeoCities site. When
Right.
you would land on it, you would see, it was so bad. Captain Caveman would go whoop, and then he would go, Captain Cave. But it was the whole square moving, not a GIF.
Right.
But it would hit
That is fantastic.
Captain Caveman I would just sometimes, log on,
Right.
and then go to the GeoCities.
Right. Go get a sandwich.
Yeah, come back and then, Captain.
Right.
Hit it, let it reload. Sit
Oh
down
my
with your
gosh.
completely eaten sandwich, and then hit the refresh. Captain Caveman, and that was my
I don't
entire
even know what to
day.
do
I'd be
with
like,
this.
Tina, come look, he's gonna do it again.
Speaking of long suffering.
But I mean, to be able to reach into that hairy body and
Oh,
pull
yeah.
out, animals,
Whatever.
and whatever, and to have 3 hot chicks like totally in love with him. I mean, God, what more
It
could
only
a
makes sense,
caveman
right?
ask? He's not a caveman lawyer who was unthawed and is scared from your new
great
world.
callback. Rest in peace, Phil Hartman.
Yes. So that would have been cool if they'd have done a Harvey Birdman episode where Captain Caveman is brought on trial and Phil Hartman could come in as the caveman lawyer, and that would have been great.
A lot of moving parts to that idea. A lot of
Yeah.
moving parts.
Yeah. All
You're
right, back
visionary.
to you. What's your next choice?
We're just going to stay because Hanna-Barbera basically owned me in this time period. It may still.
They did.
It's hard to say. How about Grape Ape?
I love Grape Ape. The Great Grape Ape,
Grape
I believe, is
Ape
exactly
would
what.
sit on the top of the car because he was too big, and he would kind of move it with his. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
And I remember
Yes,
very little about the show
Great
beyond that.
Grape Ape was what it was
yeah.
called.
I was in. As you're going to find out, and we've had this conversation before. If it's got a giant monkey in it, I'm in. Right? Remember we talked kaiju. We talked about King Kong and the Lunchbox in 1976, and I still am heavily imprinted by all things gorilla. So if you've got a giant monkey,
You're down.
I'm your guy.
You're
I
down.
will get in that van. Won't be a candy bar, but if you say I got a giant gorilla in here, I'm like, let's go.
Well, okay. So to come back with that, and I think it might have even been a Hanna-Barbera, I would have to choose Godzilla and Godzuki,
Oh, yeah.
which I believe we talked about
We have,
on
yeah.
Kaiju episode. Loved the fact that they toured the world in an oil tanker. I
Sure.
always thought it's strange that maybe, I don't know, Godzilla was just sitting around going, oh, that looks like my cousin. But, anyway, moving on.
It's complicated.
It's complicated. I mean, it was 26 episodes of just fun,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hanna-Barbera literally had their fingers in everything back then.
Oh,
It was
I mean,
Hanna-Barbera, it was Sid and Marty Krofft, and it was who are the guys that did Star Trek, and
Filmation.
that's it. And it would just spin.
Yeah.
If it wasn't one of those 3 guys, it wasn't
It
going to be
didn't
on
happen.
next year.
Yeah, it
You
didn't
know?
happen.
No.
Well, it really didn't even get on.
Right.
Because they were so in charge of just that world forever.
Yeah.
That if you wanted in, that's who you did it with.
Speaking of which, how many different ways did they do Gilligan's Island, the Jetsons, and Archie? I mean, there was Robot Gilligan's Island in space, The New Adventures of Gilligan's Island.
Well, because they would take that stuff that was syndicate, like, the stuff from the 60s that really worked in syndication at 3:00 in the afternoon
Yeah.
and run it a kid's version in the morning, I guess, to get us ready for later syndication. But that's
Yeah, yeah.
the Brady's, the Brady
Mhm.
kids and the Brady's in space and all that nonsense that
Yeah.
that also got rolled out. But all of that was stuff that was really popular network primetime shows in the 60s, 50s, and 60s that were syndicated, and they made kids versions because they were cheap and they already had the voices.
Happy Days,
Oh
Happy
yeah.
Days in Space. You know, I mean,
Everything eventually went to space because Star Wars.
everything. You know, Harlem Globetrotters was one of my favorite cartoons.
Harlem
They
Globetrotters. Oh
they
yeah.
were so much fun, and then they had the robot Harlem Globetrotter or something. Oh man, it's good
Yes.
stuff. Okay, so I will see your Hanna-Barbera, and I'm going to go into the realm of Marvel here, and I'm going to say one of the interesting ones. There were actually it's like a match set. If you had to watch it, it would be the Fantastic Four
Yep.
that ran with Herbie the bot, from 13 episodes in '78. At the next year, they didn't do a season 2. No, what they did was Fred and Barney meet the Thing.
That's
Ring Thing,
right.
do your thing.
That is right. How did I forget about that?
Oh my God. Even as a kid, I was like, huh?
This is too much.
What is
We've
he?
gone too far. But again, that popular primetime property from the
Yeah,
50s that was on every Sunday morning,
that's right. Yeah,
you've
because that
also
was
got the Thing.
like the late 50s and early to mid 60s were all of those individual Marvel comics,
Right?
the little cartoons. And then I think it was the late 60s that we got the Amazing Spider-Man.
I think
Um,
that's right.
yeah. And so yeah, that was when it was kind of ramping up. And then we get here into the 70s, and as shown by your shirt there, we had plenty of DC, and we
Yeah,
had
we
plenty
did.
of Marvel fighting for our not only our viewership but also our money.
Yes.
So
Mostly our money.
yeah, most of our money. So I think we should segue at this point to the Super Friends,
Yeah, we should.
because this is something that literally kicked off a dynasty in TV. So why don't you start out first?
So Super Friends, it's a, you talk about something that evolved, and there were like, I don't know, 8 or 9 different versions of the Super Friends over time through that decade and into the 80s. Ultimately, 90 something episodes
Yeah.
of Super Friends. Started with, you mentioned the OGs with, was it, let's see, Superman, Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and then the kids and Wonder Dog. And that was
Yeah.
it.
Did you look
And
down at your shirt?
no, come on. So that was the first season, and there were basically no villains because did you know that the early Super Friends were still under the 60s comics laws?
No.
And so the Super Friends couldn't touch the villains. They couldn't put their
Makes
hands
sense.
on them, right? Because they didn't want it to be a violent thing. So early on, most of the Super Friends was like this earthquake happened, we've got to fix everything,
This
or
tornado,
this tidal
this-
wave. Yeah, and it was like it was
How
like the
many
disaster
damn
of the week.
volcanoes go off in a week?
It's like
You
living in
know?
Oklahoma. We got blizzards one day and tornadoes the next, and earthquakes, and all 4 horsemen of the apocalypse riding through here. But
And
then
the 79 step side pickup
that's
truck.
exactly right. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
No, you're not wrong. That's the joy of it. But then it evolved, and so then you had so that was the first season, and they came back. They jettisoned the kids and Wonder Dog and gave us Zan and Jaina and Gleek,
Yes.
the Wonder Twins,
Yes.
and the Legion of Doom.
That's right.
So then the bad guys came in, but still, as I just nerd you with information that you don't care anything about, or you might, but nobody else listening will.
Yeah. Well, there's nobody else listening anyway.
That's
so-
right. It's just us hanging out. The reason that none of the like big Batman villains were on is because Filmation was also doing a Batman TV show, and
Right,
they
which-
owned the rights to Joker and Penguin and Mr. Freeze. But because DC gave Hanna-Barbera rights to the Justice League, which Batman and Robin just also happened to be a part of,
Right.
they were able to use them, but they couldn't use the villains.
Wow,
So
smart.
that's why you
It's
got
kind of like the Sony Spider-Man
no, it's
Venom.
exactly like that now, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you had Solomon Grundy and Black Manta and these like D-list villains that nobody'd ever heard of, but they were the bad
And
guys.
you remember where the Hall of Doom would rise out of, right?
Oh, the swamp,
Of
probably next to your house.
It was in Louisiana.
There you
That's
go.
right. I
Right next
you
to
know
Ball, Louisiana.
that right next to Louisiana. So we have to talk about there were so many talented people that were on that show.
Yes.
But the two that really stand out, of course, were Casey Kasem,
Right.
who was Robin, and the computer, Olin Soul, who was Batman,
Right.
and some little guy who only was in it for one season, Frank Welker,
Yep.
who may have gone on to do something else. I'm not really sure.
Yep. Well, and there are others.
Yes.
Ted Knight,
Yes.
Judge Smales was a part,
Mhm.
and Lurch. Ted Cassidy,
Yes,
the guy
Ted
that played
Cassidy.
Lurch,
Yes.
did voices for him, as like Solomon Grundy and
Colin
some of those.
Montgomery. Yep. And there were so many great things about this show. Not even to talk about the fact that how great season 2 was once you got the villains and they started to
Right.
show up. But we also got, the Adventures of Batman and Robin, the new Adventures of Batman and Robin with Adam West and Burt Ward doing the voices. Oh
Yep.
my God, that was, just so cool. I think we even had Batgirl for a while at the
Oh, I'm
time.
sure.
Yeah. And then, everybody as it grew and increased, you had like the tornado guy, and then you had the savage or whatever his name was,
Yeah.
he could grow Thunder Chief or something like
Right.
that.
Well,
All
and
of
those
these
were made up. Like they
Yeah.
were not DC characters, but it was on ABC.
I believe it was, yes.
They wanted more diversity among the heroes.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you had, and I don't remember the Native American guy's name, but you had Samurai.
I think it's Thunder Chief.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Black Vulcan,
Mhm.
who was not a thing
Not
anywhere,
Black
but he
Lightning.
showed up. No,
Not Black
that was
Lightning.
different.
Yeah.
That was different.
I mean, you ended up getting Cyborg and Firestorm. And then you got Desaad and Darkseid, Bizarro. Jeez, I mean, I'm just flipping through here, and it's just Scarecrow, Hawkman, God, of course, Lex Luthor. Oh my God,
Right. And Brainiac.
and Brainiac, and the Toyman, and Sinestro, and Giganta, like you said, Black Mantis. And then they went back, if I'm not mistaken, and did Superboy. Like,
Oh,
I don't know if it was
I think there was
individual
a stretch where it
episodes.
was like super everything.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Crypto shows up. You got Superboy. You got, Super Grandmother, Super Postman. I mean, if you could put a big red S on it, they were throwing it out there. Same with
Mhm.
Batman, right? Batman, Batgirl, Bat Dog, Bat Cat, Bat, whatever. Because
Bat.
it worked, right? We were into it.
Yes, we were. Yes, we were.
Because here we are, how many years later,
Still talking about it.
waxing far too eloquently about it. So I got to ask you this:
Yes.
favorite member of the Legion of Doom?
Oh, I really did dig Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
Not knowing as much as I did at the time, and remember going and reading about it, not just in comics, but the mythos of what a Solomon Grundy was, just fascinated me as a kid. I mean, everybody else was like, even if they weren't super smart, like Lex Luthor, they were intelligent people.
Right.
They weren't Bizarro either. Bizarro was just like whatever. But Solomon Grundy was almost like an elemental that he was outside the norm of what the rest of the world was. And then as I grew up and I've read more and more stories about it, they've really done some great things with that character in the comics.
Really?
Yeah. Even to the point where, if I'm not mistaken, he shows up in the Injustice series,
Okay.
And Superman ends up like after he accidentally has to kill Lois. Have you ever heard that storyline?
Yeah, yeah.
He ends up like literally flying a hole through Solomon Grundy to finally kill him. And it's like, wow. But all right, what about you? What's your favorite Doom or
This is not going to surprise you at all based on conversation we've already had. Gorilla Grodd.
yeah.
I again, giant, super strong, super intelligent ape. I'm here. I'm hanging out for it.
All right, so we got to put a pause on this for just a second.
Okay.
Have you seen the teaser trailer for Fantastic Four?
Yes.
And did you see the quick of John Malkovich?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I may have, but
John Malkovich is in it for just a fleeting second. Okay. John Malkovich is supposedly playing, I think the character's called the Red Ghost,
okay.
who, after the Fantastic Four get their powers, he creates a rocket ship and brings his own crew to fly through cosmic rays. And they end up crashing on the moon. Oh, did I mention they're all apes and gorillas?
Thank you very much. I'm in.
Super intelligent with powers.
Listen, all day.
It's a made for you movie.
All day and twice on Sunday, man. Bring it.
How have we not done Fave 5 TV and movie gorillas?
I don't know.
I gotta write that down right now.
I think we're doing it right now, actually.
Hey, we got to put Clyde in there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Clyde's
absolutely.
gotta
Right
go.
turn, Clyde.
Right
I
turn.
love orangutans.
Okay, so back to live action. Are you familiar with Arc 2?
No, I saw that on the list, and I'm sure at some point I passed it by, but I don't remember it at all.
So it really sticks out in my mind because I was a huge fan of Damnation Alley.
Okay.
And the vehicle in Damnation Alley and the vehicle in Arc 2 are, I wouldn't say identical, but they are the same all-terrain type vehicle with 3 wheels on one
Okay.
axle
Yeah.
and all this stuff. But they had the James Bond jetpack, like from, I think it was Goldfinger,
Okay.
where, and it shoots out like compressed liquid nitrogen or something. And so they're not just flying around on a crane. They're literally driving this thing places, and they're literally taking off. Well, of course, they literally take off, and then they show them against a green screen flying.
Right.
And then
right.
they'll show them, probably reverse,
Right.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think they had a chimp.
Oh, see, now I gotta go find it.
Uh-huh. I have the DVD. I can loan it to you if I ever meet you in person.
Well, aren't you coming to the book signing tomorrow? You said you were coming.
Yes.
I got a thing. Yeah.
I gotta grab some sleep, and then I'm gonna
It's
head
a bit of a drive. Bit of a drive. Okay, so I'll hit you with one more live action.
That's what I fixed to say. Parry me back.
This is my last live action I can think of. The Far Out Space Nuts.
Same situation. I kind of remember that, but don't
Yeah.
ever remember watching it.
Two janitors that get trapped in a rocket ship and end up going into space. Basically Roger Wilco. But yeah, and I think there was some kind of creature that they ended up traveling with. I vaguely remember this, but I also remember watching a lot of it. But
Yeah.
there are probably 7 episodes that I just saw 50 times. But yeah, the Far Out Space Nuts.
Okay.
Again, Sid Marty Krofft, because that's who did things. And yeah, it was funny. I mean, these guys were goofballs and kind of like the Hong Kong Phooey thing. Like they would solve problems accidentally, but I was in.
Okay. How about, did you watch, I think it was called Return to the Planet of the Apes? The animated TV show?
Oh, yes.
Okay. How about live action Logan's Run?
The TV show?
The TV show.
Yes.
with
Yeah.
Gregory Harrison, I believe.
No, I won't.
Yeah, he was on Trapper John MD.
Oh,
He
okay.
was the guy who wasn't Trapper John.
Clever.
All right. Of course, you got to talk about Star Trek, the animated series.
Absolutely.
That was to think that Nichelle and um, Jimmy did so many voices
Right.
on that show. It's crazy.
Well, and that somehow they managed to get almost all of the original cast to do voices. I mean, they weren't really doing much anything else,
Yeah.
but to get them to do that for a couple of seasons, or one season, I think is all it ran, um,
I think it might have
is
been two short
is
seasons.
amazing.
Yeah.
You may be right.
And the stories were great. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
you had people like what was it? Greg Bear, who did his
yep,
Kashi, whatever it was called, on there. You had the Terratin episode, which was, I mean, talk about a shocker at the end. You're like, what? I mean, for that age, you're like,
oh
wait,
yeah,
what's happening here? And then to see, Robert April and his wife, all of this mythos that later on they would build so many stories on, came out of this show.
right.
And talk about diversity. They had the Quetzalcoatl, the
Bless you.
native, I mean, the Aztec
Right.
god in space. I mean, it was some really, really cool stuff.
Well, and it was because the same creator. So everybody that was doing Star Trek, when Star Trek got canceled, said, "Okay, let's do this thing." And so you had lots of the original writers, you had
Mhm.
all the original. So that same mindset that went into Star Trek, and the first interracial kiss on TV, and the black and white episode. I mean, all those kinds of things that were very much speaking about what was going on in the world. They just kept going, except now they
Right.
were doing it. They were animated.
And you go back and you look at how many people, science fiction writers they had on the original series,
Oh yeah.
and they kept that tradition into
Yep.
the animated. And it's one of the drawbacks that I will say that I feel that Next Gen and others kind of not drop the ball, obviously, because they did an amazing job with Next Gen, but didn't pick up and carry the ball, was that history of having hard sci-fi authors
Yeah. Yeah.
coming in and giving scripts.
Yep.
Because I don't know about you, but when I was tearing through the DC comics, there were some amazing stories by Peter David and I think Marv Wolfman. All of these people were putting together. They did a whole year in DC, about a mirror universe war, and I mean, David was alive. They had their own Excelsior.
Yeah.
And again, on the bridge, of the our universe, they had, God, we were getting so far off topic. But they had a Native American, they had a Klingon officer,
Yep.
and then they even had a guy whose parents were killed by Klingons serving on the ship on the bridge with the Klingon, which that's exactly what Next Gen did
Right.
years later on, is bringing on Worf. So the comics were being written by these people, and then later on, Peter David gets his hands on it and just does so many amazing storylines. I think they could have done better by going back to that well and saying, we really need some of these hard sci-fi people to come back and give us stories.
Yeah. I think it was just we're on to a whole different show now. Next Gen and really everything that came after it was, of course, it's a period of a different time,
Right.
or the product of a different time, not less contentious in terms of the kinds of things that Star Trek dealt with, but less willing, I think, to engage them. And,
Yeah.
one of the things we've talked about this before, the history of science fiction is rife with writers who are talking about really significant things, but doing it with spaceships and aliens. And so you can choose to not catch on.
Right.
And that wasn't the vibe in the 90s.
No.
And so I think it was hard to, well, one, I think there was also, they wanted a greater cohesion because you didn't have, the individual Star Trek episodes really were, original Star Trek were not tied together.
No. They couldn't even remember the name of Starfleet.
Right, right. So as you had this episodic television that became more long-term story driven, you had to have showrunners and you had to have people that were more, writing multiple episodes so that you could tie things together and bring people back and all that kind of stuff. It was just a product of a different time. But you're right. I would love, and I think that's one of the reasons that Battlestar Galactica the second time around was such a big deal, because it was written by people who were hardcore sci-fi nerds, and I mean writers and geniuses, and built that into and built that into the show.
Yeah. I can't agree more. What were we talking about?
Something I don't know.
So
we have to talk a little bit. $6 Million Man. Yes.
Greatest commercials on TV. I learned the most valuable life lesson from the $6 Million Man's lunar rescue vehicle. Have I told you this story before?
I can't wait to hear where this is going. I don't think so.
So obviously, like you said earlier, the 70s had the absolute best toy commercials of all times.
Yes.
Most of the time, they were not cartoons. Most of the time, they were kids just like us.
Right.
Playing in the dirt.
Playing with vehicles.
With action figures.
Yep.
And so $6 Million Man, every week we were all, glued to the TV to see what Colonel Steve Austin was going to be doing.
Yeah, we were.
And every Saturday morning we were seeing commercials for the toys of the $6 Million Man.
Yep.
And so he had this vehicle that he would sit in. And remember, these suckers were tall.
Right. They were the original 12-inch figures.
Yeah. And so you'd fit him in there and he'd fly around. You'd hold the back of it. It had a handle on it. And then there was the lost shipment of plutonium or whatever. And so he would fly over, and then the winch would come down, not the barmaid, but and then hook onto it, and then it would pull it back up, and he'd fly away and save the day. So Christmas rolls around. I think it was 1977, maybe 77, 76, and I open it up. And I actually have a photo, which if I could find, I'm going to put right here, that captured the moment before I learned the most valuable lesson. I took it out of the box. I was so excited. I was like, oh, and I was putting some things on it and everything. And I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing. And look, Dad, it does this. Mom, check this out. And my father is like, well, that's really great, but why don't we stop and wait, and we'll read the instructions and put it together for you. No, Dad, no. I've seen this commercial like 20, 25 times. I know how this works. And I put and he's like, no, look, we have some instructions, right? No, watch. So he'll fly over here, and you've got to, and then you just take the hook and you go, and when I did that, little bits fell out. So to make the winch work, you pull the trigger in, pulling back the stopper, and you slide it out. And then you let go of it and crank it, and it pulls it back out. Well, I never knew that. And my rescue vehicle never, ever did that.
I feel like this is the Jamie Ray therapy hour. We have plumbed some depths here. Your toy misadventures.
and feel good stories.
Oh, of course. Right.
Yeah, feel good stories,
Okay, but we have to talk. 1 minute. I warned you that I might have a costume change.
Yes.
1 moment, please.
Okay.
We have to talk about.
School. Do you have the DVD that has all of them together in like a 2-disc set?
No, but I have YouTube.
Oh, there you go. How about? Do you have the CD that has all the songs on one disc?
No, but I kind of wish I did.
It has them all redone.
Oh no.
Yes.
I need
Or do
that.
you have the Saturday morning cartoon theme songs redone by current artists,
I have heard some of
including
those.
the Ramones doing the Spider-Man song?
That's incredible.
It is incredible. But before we do that, as we know, knowledge is power. So
Absolutely.
please.
So one of the things that the networks had to do in order to get away with selling us candy and sugared cereals and toys, and I don't know that this ever
Break.
fully made sense with the break if you don't use them correctly. They had to run these PSAs to differentiate between the show and the commercials. And so you would have the show and then it'd be, we'll be right back with, Grape Ape or whatever. And then in would come Schoolhouse Rock or the Bod Squad or what was the guy's
Slim
name?
Goodbody.
Slim Goodbody, Hanker for a Hunk of Cheese, the timer guy, whatever he was.
Yeah.
That made this, remember the Sunshine on a Stick?
Yes.
Throws
I
orange
remember all the
juice.
same guy.
Yes, all the same guy. But Schoolhouse Rock was the one that taught us all the valuable things that a 7-year-old needed to know, like the preamble to the Constitution and how a bill becomes a law and what conjunctions are. But they stick in our heads, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 is a magic number. All of these things. And I now when a commercial comes on, our natural response is to go get something to eat, change whatever. Then it was like, okay, this is the one with the trains, or this is the one with the whatever, and you're in.
Yeah.
Right. Love those things.
Junction, what's your function?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I can sing the preamble
this.
right now.
Right there. Not to steal this from you, but how many times in your childhood were you taking a civics test and you pick up your head to see people going,
Oh yeah.
all the time?
Well, when again, 7th grade civics, when you had to write they had to memorize the preamble of the Constitution, no problem.
Yeah.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. I can do the whole thing if you need me to. Yes.
Please don't. I will never need you to. Ever.
Well,
So
challenge accepted.
I'm just a Bill. A lonely old Bill.
Yeah. Sitting here on Capitol Hill.
That's it. But as good as those were, they were by far, like you said, not the only things on TV.
Oh no.
There was Timer. I believe you might have even said his name earlier.
Yep, Timer.
That was the guy who had a hankering for a hunk of cheese, Sunshine on a Stick, Time for Timer, that would tell you that you needed to get your sleep.
Right.
Just so many of these. And then you'd switch over and you had, oh God, what was the other ones?
The Bod Squad was the other big one I remember.
Okay.
And
then,
they,
of course, Monday through Friday, you would have Sesame Street and the Electric Company.
Oh yeah.
With their songs that would stick in your head.
Oh yeah.
And literally, I mean, they taught us American history and civics. You know? It's
Apparently
again,
not all
I
of us
just
in the
feel
same
that-
way, but we won't. That's not that kind of show.
No, that was our Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, our TikTok that was educational.
Yes.
30 seconds of this that you would see. And I don't remember seeing them over and over and over again on the same Saturday morning.
Oh no.
There were
they'd
so many
rotate
of
through
them. Yeah,
Right.
So you might see them every week, but you wouldn't see them every day.
Probably if we went back and tracked it, they just slotted them in the same period.
Yeah.
Right. So at the end of, at the first commercial break for the Super Friends, it's noun as a person, place, or thing. And then after the break, it's who knows? But
who knows? But there were so many of them.
Yes, tons of them.
Some that I don't even remember. I've got this, like I said, I got this DVD that has like 2 DVDs of them. And, there's 3 is a magic number, and and again, they cross in my heads. I don't even know if that was Sesame Street or if it was
Oh no, that was Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. I
It's probably
also
on
think
my
of the
shirt
one
somewhere.
with the pinball.
Oh yeah.
I don't
1, 2,
remember.
3, 4, 5. That was Electric Company.
Okay.
I think
There you go.
it was either
Or
Electric Company or Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. And of course, we just did this past week, we just did Morgan Freeman roles and Easy Reader.
Right.
So one of his
Right.
very first roles was Morgan Freeman as Easy Reader. Then also, oh God, we got to do a whole Electric Company show now. There was also where we got the Spidey Adventures.
That's right. Spider-Man.
You know, one of our first ever live. I think it was the first ever live action
Probably.
Spider-Man.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So Saturdays
Those were good times, man.
they were a magical time in the 70s. And I do feel that kids today will never have the experiences like we had. We were in that perfect area where, kids from the 50s, all they did was go out and play. They were never home. They never sat in front of the TV. The kids from the 60s, they maybe saw some stuff, but most of it was probably in black and white. And they didn't have, the toys like we did. So
Right.
man, we hit that sweet
Oh, yeah.
spot in the 70s where we had it all. I mean, we really did. We didn't have gas to go anywhere, but we had,
Details.
yeah, detail. So I mean, hey, we're gonna stay home anyway, right? And like you said, going out into the wild of our backyards or
Right.
in the woods. It's you can't match that today. You're scared if your kids, if you're not checking them on the app to see where they are.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it was a magical time.
Well, and I was thinking about this. None of it was on demand. And I think
No.
we've missed that. So I think about my grandson who at any given moment can watch literally anything.
Yeah.
So, if he's feeling Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, then within a second we can get there. And that just wasn't, because even, the early 70s we're talking about wasn't even a way to record it.
No.
So it
It was
happened.
$500 for a VCR.
Right. And it happened on that 30 minutes on Saturday morning. And if you missed it that time, it was going to come back around,
Yeah.
but you were just going to have to wait for it to come back around.
So before we wrap up,
All right.
what you just
Why
said
are you
there
laughing?
just brings me an early 80s memory that now we have to do an 80s episode.
A whole different thing.
Do you remember sitting by the radio with your tape recorder,
Oh, heck yeah.
the button pushed down, but not released?
Yep.
And as soon as those first,
Yep.
you let go. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
the DJ talks over the end, and you're like,
Right.
What's Napster?
Oh, no.
We don't have any of that. A CD? What? No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The 80s were a great period too. They were a great period to be a teenager, a child in the early and a teenager near the end.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with my kids. And you said it, I just think we won.
I agree.
Like in terms of the generations, the ages we got to be at particular points in time. Now, everybody probably feels that way about, well, maybe not kids that grew up in the 20s during the Great Depression.
I don't know that kids today feel that way.
No,
And
I
somewhat
don't.
rightly so. I mean, they have school shootings and drills and all of these different things that were never. We had guns in the parking lot, and because it was deer season and nobody ever blinked an eye, So I can understand why there's anxiety and there's things like that
Sure.
today.
Yeah, I think there's a nostalgia that kicks in, but there's also
Hard
when you
facts.
just think about everything that we got to experience, got to see happen. Such an incredible transitional time in pop culture, in American history, in just so many different things.
And world history.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah.
And we're still winning, even at whatever age we are now. Old.
Even in our age.
If only we were wiser.
or in my case, thinner. Um,
You
well,
can
Jay
speak for
Hall,
both of us there.
yeah, but at least you're going by. I told you I went by the gym this weekend.
Did you? You
Yes,
wave?
drove right past it. It never gets old. It never gets funny, but it never gets old.
Yeah, but you keep trying.
I want to thank you for taking the time to
So
come up
fun.
with all these great memories to share with us,
So fun.
with me, and it was a wonderful time to be alive, and it still is, because we'll have those memories, and thank God we have eBay to get those toys again.
Right. We have Captain Crunch.
There you go. So Jay, real quick, you have a new book.
I have a new book,
Tell me about it.
College Unpacked. So this is a little different than the other book. This is my response. I don't know. I've been working in higher ed for almost 20 years
Uh-huh.
and have 4 kids that I have sent to college. So I feel like I know both sides.
Yeah, your
of
wife
this
didn't do
thing.
anything.
No.
No, I've got it
Please.
recorded. You
She
took
did
all the
of
credit.
it. Yeah, whatever. She wouldn't even believe that. She would believe I said it. She'd just laugh about it. But through all those years, there are questions that come up over and over and over again. And I see so many students, particularly first gen students, who struggle with higher education, not because they're not prepared, not because they're not capable, but because there's just so much they don't know.
Yeah.
And so College Unpacked is the subtitles, A Practical Guide to Choosing, Preparing for, and Excelling in College. And it really is from where do I want to go to school? How do I make that decision? What do I do on a campus visit? How do I apply? What does that process look like? What do I do after I've been accepted? So we talk about dorms, we talk about roommates, we talk about parking, we talk about meal plans, all that kind of stuff. And then the second half of the book is, and then what do I do when I get there? Right? How do I set myself up for success? And so there's even an entire chapter dedicated to what do all these words mean? Who are these people and what do they do? What's a bursar? What's a registrar? When they tell me to go to the writing center, they tell me to go here or there. What am I looking for? What does my advisor do? Just to give them all of those different pieces. There's a chapter on how to talk to a professor.
Yeah.
Because I see students blow up a class because they come hot at a professor, or they don't know how to engage, or they don't know how to build a relationship with that person who can be a significant source of help.
Yes.
But you've got to work towards it. And then there's also like an entire chapter dedicated to what do you do when things go wrong, when you fail a class, when you end
Just
up on
one
academic
chapter?
probation. Well, for
It's a
you,
long chapter.
there's a lot more than that. But just when things go bad, when you want to do a grade appeal, when you get accused of academic misconduct and you didn't do it, or you did do it, how to navigate that. So it really is, the heart of it is to help students and their parents, their families, from first moment through graduation. Here's everything you need to know not everything you need to know, but here's a lot that you can use to make yourself prepared and equipped to then navigate that higher ed journey. It was a lot of fun to write. Got to collaborate with some great folks from my just different parts of my world, and the response, people who've read it, I've got a lot of folks who have high school seniors, high school juniors, college freshmen, and some who have college students who have finished, saying, man, I wish I'd had something like this when my kid went to school. So I'm really proud of it. Again, it's College Unpacked. You can find it on all the places where you find books. You can go to jhallwriter, WRITER.com, and there's lots of links to grab it there.
That's awesome. And as soon as I get my autographed copy, I'll be reading it and doing a review.
There you go. And you'll be ready to go to college.
I do love the foreword in the book, though, that I wrote, because I feel that it truly encapsulates what it is to be a student going to college. And I thank you for allowing me to write that. I haven't seen it in the book yet, so I don't know if it made
the final
it.
edit.
It did?
You've
Okay.
heard the cutting room floor.
Mm.
That's a thing for books too.
Darn it.
But I will staple those pages into the one I send you. How's that?
The next one, though, I want to write the blurb on the back, okay, for the next one.
Outstanding.
Thank God I need to find a good nursing home, and you can help me. I don't know.
Thank God I'm 54 years old and still talking about the 70s.
All right. Well, again, we want to thank all of you out there who stayed with us for God, I don't know how long this was.
A minute.
If you are a child of the 80s, then thank you. If you weren't, God, thank you, because whew, I can't believe you sat through that. But remember, this is just one of the many shows that the Plastic Microphone Studios brings to you on a somewhat regular basis. Every Friday, you can look for new episodes of Fave 5 from fans. And we'll be dropping some new Hanging with Hitch episodes soon. So check those out. Jay Hall might be on one of those.
We've talked about it.
And also make sure to subscribe and to like all of the channels, all of the places, all of the shows, especially, what's your show called again?
The Okie Bookcast. You say it wrong every time.
No, that's not it. It's the Okie Book Pod.
You call it the Okie Book Club all the time.
It is the Okie Book Club. That's it. That's it.
It's not.
Oh,
Never
man.
has been. The Okie Bookcast, for those of you who are confused now.
And he has a lovely show called My Next Big Read. My next huge
Man, you need cue cards.
You want to read what's it called?
Your next great read.
That's what I said. I could swear I said that.
I don't think you ever put those 4 words in one sentence.
Maybe if I had a sticker. I'm just saying. If I had a sticker, I might.
Or a memory.
What was it again?
Exactly.
But anyway, seriously, it is a wonderful show that his daughter, Hannah Joy Heron, co-hosts with him. They bring in some amazing authors. They also talk about books that are upcoming or out new and suggestions for you. Hey, are we ever going to see more of those from page to screen shows?
That's called Pages to Pictures. Yeah, at some point. Some point. When we had these conversations, when I went on hiatus and came back, I came back with a limited release schedule at this point because I'm doing things like writing books and I have this day job that people expect me to like go to.
Yeah, but I'm guessing you sleep at nights. I'm just saying, there's plenty of
I
time
don't
there.
very often. Okay, we'll get back to it at some point.
All right. Well, okay. So make sure to follow us and subscribe and all of that. And look for the upcoming Fave 5 episode, Fave 5 Apes and Simians with Jay Hall. I literally wrote like 10 things down while we're talking. I keep
Amazing.
a little stack of Post-its here to do that. So we are going to do that. I am dead serious. We're going to do that. Animated, live action, whatever. Even and you can only choose the little guy from Planet of the Apes, Andy Serkis, once.
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us for Complete Disarray with Jamie Ray. I am the aforementioned Jamie Ray, and that's you. That's your cue because I kind of told you.
Oh, because that's the direction I am. This is Jay Hall, and this has been so much fun. This has been great.
It really
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. See you soon, bud.
All right, man.